Okay, this is my final RecFest podcast recording in our Purple Acorn live stream, 2-day long live stream. I'm here with another new friend. I've been telling people, so my first day here, I only brought on people I know very well.
Mm-hmm.
My second day, because so much of this podcast is about building and growing your recruiting community,
Yeah.
I've wanted to purposely bring on people that I don't know and
Okay.
get to know them and meet. So I'm here with Stephanie Jordan.
Yeah.
You are senior recruiter of the Washington Post.
Currently, yeah.
Which I'm sure has plenty of interesting stories to it. But before I get into anything, I always have to ask, because recruiters ask this question 1,000 times a day, but we never ask ourselves, is this still a good time?
It's still a good time.
Still a good time? Perfect. I'm glad we're able to sit down.
Yes.
And we have you here. So you're Washington Post. I want to get into what I call the recruiting breakdown in a little bit, but I'm curious, what do you recruit for at the Washington Post?
Well, so I'm currently in contract right now,
Okay.
so I'm doing an operations business and some of the tech roles.
Okay. Because I like hearing, I'm like, oh, like reporters? No, you don't recruit
No,
reporters. And
no.
I worked for a Washington Post organization company years and years ago.
Okay.
But awesome. So I like to start every episode with what I call recruiting breakdown,
Okay.
which is typically because recruiters are always on the verge of a breakdown.
Yes.
But today for my breakdown, what I really like to talk about is RecFest. So
Okay.
you're on day 2.
Yes.
You've been here for the 2 days. How's RecFest going for you?
It's been amazing. So this is actually my very first RecFest.
Okay.
I have always wanted to go, and this year was the first year I actually was able to make it work. So,
Yeah.
I go to a lot of conferences, and this is completely different from anything I've ever been to.
Yes.
And I did do my research a little bit before I came, so it's like knew what to expect. Because originally I was like, I'm going to come with all my work stuff, and I'm going to do all this, and I was like, no, just come here and relax and
Yeah.
be amongst your peers, and it's very, very relaxed, and it's just like very impactful. I feel.
Yes.
So it's been incredible.
It is such a different vibe.
Yes.
I mean, it's obviously you're outside in the sun,
Yeah,
which changes
that's
everything, but
been
it's
yeah.
it's the less stuffiness.
Yes.
You say you go to a lot, so I'm guessing
Yeah.
most of them are like in Vegas at giant
Yeah.
convention
Yeah,
centers.
exactly, yeah.
And I've been to all of those too, right? And they're overwhelming.
Yes.
And they're hot. Well, it's hot here, but
Yeah.
they're loud and they're lit up, and
Overstimulating,
This
yeah.
is, you actually get to have real conversations.
Exactly, yes.
Have you gotten to sit in any interesting talks that are sticking with you?
So yes, yesterday I did one about AI, the fraud detection candidates, 'cause that's something that's very big that we're dealing with.
Sure.
And then neurodivergence as well, which is really important to me. And there's been a lot of really interesting things.
Was that the one with there was an AI app that helps companies
Yes.
dealing? Yes, someone else told me about that one yesterday.
And I was like, so I am neurodivergent, and someone it never occurred to me I always hear the opposite in terms of AI being used to sort of weed out folks with neurodivergence or sort of working against us. And it's like, oh, this is a tool that can actually help. That's
Yeah.
wow, that is something I never even thought about. So
Yeah,
it's really
built
cool.
by somebody who was neurodivergent
Exactly.
themselves, right? And
Yes.
and that's something that one of the things I talk about a ton on this podcast
Yeah.
and newsletter is there's so many AI tools, and it becomes our instinct to almost fight them.
Yes.
But it's not that AI itself is bad,
Yeah.
right? It is the who's building it, what's the purpose?
Yeah.
Is it some tech bro who's just I know how to solve this versus someone who's my expertise
Yes.
works here. And that's what I love hearing about that one is it's someone who's just this is a problem I deal with.
Exactly.
And this is my knowledge. And I told a story on another episode about when I was at HR Tech, this company grabbed me and they do AI therapy and AI therapy bot, which right away just
Oh, wow.
sent a little chill down my spine. I was like,
Yeah.
no, I don't like that. I don't like the chat GPT people are already using it for therapy. But they were like, no, you have to meet this woman. And they brought me over and she was just Harvard educated, Harvard professor, research paper studied. And she's who built this AI.
Wow.
So it's not chat GPT hyping you up, right? She's you have to demo it.
Yeah.
I put 20 years worth of therapy knowledge into this this LLM. And the conversation was like talking to a real therapist.
Wow.
And she was I'm not replacing therapy.
Yeah.
I don't do this instead of actually going all the time. But if you needed to talk to, right? And I was testing it and really trying to kind of push it and it responded in the way that an actual therapist would.
Yeah.
Not just oh, okay, well, here's what to do.
Yeah.
And that's the feeling I get when I hear multiple people tell me about this AI for neurodivergent.
Yeah. So it was really fascinating.
Yeah, that's awesome. I always like to ask everybody, because recruiting is a nightmare.
Yeah.
What is your recruiting nightmare story?
Okay, so I was thinking about this, and this is actually the very first role I ever worked in as a baby recruiter about 9 years ago, because I started as a recruiting coordinator and a sourcer. And it was for the company I worked at. It was supposed to be a role to visit temporal. Someone had an accident, and they ended up passing away.
Okay.
And so this is my very first role, working on a role where someone who had passed away, dealing with a very emotional team and a very sort of stressful situation because it was like, well, what do I do? What do I tell candidates? And dealing with that, and I didn't know the person well, but also like, dealing with my own sort of sense of things. And so managing that situation was very interesting. I was like, if I can deal with that, I can deal with anything else because it was just very, very, very heightened.
Yeah.
And we found a great candidate that the team loved as well, but it was just a lot of like moving pieces that were just like, oh my goodness.
Yeah. And that story's hard. And I've been in, one of the reasons I love talking about like recruiting nightmares is because I feel like we've all had similar situations. Like every listener, every reader, like we've had something similar. And I've had the same thing where I placed somebody and it was a little bit longer into it, but they wound up passing away. But there's these like memes online and jokes about like, oh, if you die, the company will replace you. Keep going. And that's hard because there is a callous feeling to that.
It is,
but at the same time, business does go on for this company. And like it might sound crappy to have to say like, so I had to find someone else to kind of go, but it's just like, it's not that we're sad this happened, but this company can't stop operating because someone that they're about to employ did. So like, of course they're going to replace you. It's different in the grand scheme of life, but it is still an employee who they plan to have that's no longer with the company for whatever reason. So I think that story's hard. It's heightened emotions. And you feel bad about like, oh, I'll just replace and do this, but at the same time, it's what you're supposed to do. That's hard. And these are things recruiters deal with that people like don't think about. Like they just think we're sort of sitting there like, haha, death, and now I fill a role again.
It's like,
corporate go.
It's like no one wants to do this. No one wants to deal with that.
No one wants to, but like, it has to be done.
Be very sensitive about it for everybody involved, and that it's just like, it was eye-opening, and I'm glad that I was able to be the one to work on this role. And it's funny because I think you started telling me this story last night. But we were in like the loudest bar and party ever. And I was like, I have no idea where I can only hear half this story, but I'm excited tomorrow to hear more of this story. Okay. Now, what I always ask people as well, right, is it's hard being a recruiter, right? The internet hates us. Yes, they do.
We're like the least popular person in corporate right now.
We are.
We're hated both internally at our own companies and externally in many situations. How do you cope with it? Like, how do you deal with that and build a community and sort of keep showing up anyway?
Well, part of me is like, well, I'm being the one to combat that sort of mentality of visibility. Like, I try to be like, if I'm going to go out here and talk about recruiting from a recruiting standpoint, like, for me, it's like, okay, I'm going to try to demystify it, especially for like, because I have a lot of friends who are job seekers, and I used to post online about job seeking stuff as well. It's like, let me be the person to come in here, like, pull back the curtain so you can see exactly what it's like, but also understanding like this, but so much one can do. Like, I literally have had conversations with people like friends about ATSs, and then telling about like, okay, literally breaking down, this is how it works. Being told, I don't believe you.
They don't want to hear it from you.
Right. So at that point, it's just like, whatever. I was a new problem. So, but I mean, really, for me, I think also just being as empathetic and open and sort of being a champion for people, especially for candidates, is a big thing for me. And just having the visibility of like, I really want to be here. I want to show you all that I am the one here. I'm here to help. I'm here to help the candidates. I'm here to be like a champion for my hiring managers as well. Like, I know this is hard. Like, let me take as much off your plate as possible and make this process as easy as possible and really be like your partner and guiding you there. So, I mean, this is a lot of like, I kind of like joke, it's like, I feel like being a recruiter is like being a project manager in a way, because you are the project manager of all these things, of being like a competent project manager and also being a brand ambassador. So it's a lot of high visibility, but sometimes at the end of the day, it's just like, all right, whatever. If you don't like me, you don't like me. That is what it is. I know that I like what I'm doing, and I know what I'm doing, so I gotta like just let it dust off my shoulders.
We are the face that most people see.
Yes.
In many cases, the only face of a company if they only do one interview. And we are the ones who have to say the hard things, right, and pass along the bad news and do all those things. And it gets tiring, right? And where events like this are so helpful, right? Like the podcast, the newsletter, events like this, it's all about everyone out there remembering, like, we're all doing this. We're all going through the same things. Everything we do feels like a lose-lose situation.
Yes, it does.
That can be so tough. And I just think that, like, my listeners and the people who read the newsletter, they probably think I work for these festivals the way I'm constantly pushing, like, come to these, come buy tickets, here's a link. Like, it really is just a matter of, like, coming to RecFest last year. So last year's RecFest was my first time, and like, that I felt like changed my career.
Wow.
Because that was just sort of like this in-person like meeting, and all these things were so different.
Yes.
It was amazing.
Yeah, this is really incredible in that sense. It's just like there's so many people here who I have like followed for years. I've been in community with for years, and have never met in person. Like, wow, I actually have a conversation. I just met with Joel like a moment ago. I've again been following with him for years. Like I used to like post on Twitter and stuff with him, and
I know.
was like, wow, it's like meeting a celebrity. Like,
Joel is the celebrity around here.
Yeah, yeah.
Joel and I, this is a funny story. Joel and I live 15 minutes from each other.
oh wow, yeah.
We've only ever seen each other at events,
That's
except for
hilarious.
once where both of our families went to the same beach one day. And like we ran into each other for 15 minutes away. We
Right.
could see each other anytime we want.
Right.
We only do it like at this event
Yeah.
or when we go to Vegas for
Exactly.
an event.
Yeah. That's how
Because
it
that's
is.
what happens
Yeah.
in life, and that's why these events are so important. And yeah,
Yeah.
you get to meet people. I met Hung Lee earlier today.
nice.
I read Recruiting Brain Food every
Yeah.
Monday. Like,
Yeah.
just like, and I met him. Got to talk to him, and I was like fangirling, right?
Yeah.
I was just like, oh my god, like when people come up to me like, oh, I love your content, that's great. Like
Yeah.
that's how I feel when I see like him.
Yeah.
And that's just so cool to be able to come and do those things.
Yeah. Yeah. Great.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad we got to sit down.
Thank
It's amazing to meet you.
Same with you, yeah.
You know, I know we've had a fun time.
Yeah.
I know RecFest has been fun.
Yeah.
The Purple Acorn live stream is continuing.
Nice.
I don't know who's next, but I've done another hour.
Okay.
This is hopefully kind of another episode here.
Yeah.
And I'm glad we got to sit. And Stephanie, I hope people find you online.
Yes, please do, yeah.
And I appreciate you joining me.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you.